Let's add the rotate Z movement to finish the hips. The rotate Z movement of the hips is going to be kind of poppy. And what I mean by that is, as the character is lifting up his foot, the hips are going to rotate to the direction of the foot being lifted. And once the character plants his foot, at about that time they're going to pop right back up. So keeping that in mind, let's go to our graph editor, focus on the rotate Z channel, and start. So we know that the right foot is coming up to at about its height on frame 5. So we'll go to the rotate Z and rotate them down a little bit more there. Okay, and we may get some locking in the legs at a few of our poses, but we'll adjust that later. Okay, and now as the character's foot is planting, as it plants in the Y, for example here on frame 8, what we'll do is let's rotate it down a little bit more, but we don't want this key to be greater than this key on frame 5, but we want it to be near to it. We could even take this key on frame 8 and bring it up a little bit more, so that when the hips, or when the foot actually plants at about frame 10, we get a nice pop in the hips. Great. So we'll just keep that pattern. The rotate Z, we have the left foot rising now. So at about frame 13, as it's raised, in the rotate Z, we'll rotate the hips to the direction of the left. We'll check out our key too. Then it plants in the Y at about frame 16. So on 16, this time we're going to rotate them up slightly, and then a couple frames after, we'll straighten them out and even bring them a little bit more to the right, just so we could get this nice pop in the plant. Okay, and let's see if we could take this key on frame 16 and bring it so it's closer to the key on 13. Okay, just so we get a better pop. And we don't want it too poppy, of course, because then it'll look off, but we still want to get that pop look to it. Great. And now we have the right foot about to come up. We could leave that key on frame 20. That's fine. We're actually getting some nice movement there. Okay, a nice jiggle in the hips. And as the right foot's now coming up, we'll go to about 23, and there we'll rotate the hips down to the right. And they plant in the Y at about 26. So there we can rotate them up very slightly. And then a couple frames after, on 28, we'll straighten them out, bringing them a little bit more to the left, so we can get a nice pop. Alright, great. And now we have the left foot coming up, and that comes up to about its height on 32. Okay, but then it just plants right there on 34. So on 32, we'll rotate the hips down there. Then on 34, we'll bring them up slightly. And 36, straighten them out. Great, and then we'll scrub through to see if we like the motion we're getting. Great. So we'll move on from here. Even adjust our graph editor some more so we can see our F curve better. And now that right foot's coming up. So on frame 44, as it's up about the highest, we'll rotate the hips down. Okay. And then it plants in the Y at about frame 50. So there, we'll bring them up slightly, and a couple frames after, and about 52, we'll straighten them out. Okay, so we scrub through. So we get a nice pop. And we are getting a little pop in the knee too. But again, we'll fix that later on. Okay, now we come to this part where there's a little pause in the steps. All the way to about 73 when the character is about to bring back his right foot. So here, let's make an adjustment, just bringing the hips down slightly. Not much at all. And then as that right foot's coming back, it's at about its high point on 79. So we'll rotate the hips down there. Then the right foot plants in the Y, or plants all together on 83. So bringing them up slightly, and a couple frames after, straighten them out. Then we have our last footstep where the left foot shifts. So on 89, we'll go there and rotate the hips to the character's left. And it plants in the Y about 93. So bring them up slightly, and on 95, we will straighten them out. Okay, so with this done, let's go ahead and hide our curves and render off a play blast, really just focusing on the hips. Okay, and then later on we'll see if we need to fix any of our legs. But let's go ahead and focus on the hips right now. Here it is. Great. So there's our rotate Z movement of the hips. Okay, so what we'll do now is just spend the time going through the animation, looking for areas where the legs are locked up and fixing them. So let's see, like about here, around frame 89 to 90. Notice how the right foot's locked up. We'll want to fix that. And also, here on about 48, we want to adjust that. And let's see. Also, let's look at this left leg. Okay, I think the left leg is actually fine. So we just have two areas. So to fix them up, the first one on frame 48, let's go there and we'll go to our raised ball for the left foot. Okay, and on 48, let's just bring up that channel some more till we get a nice bend. Alright, great. And to make sure that the key on frame 50 isn't lower, or basically so that the raised ball isn't dropping from frames 48 to 50, we'll just take this key on frame 50 and bring it up so it's a little bit higher than the key on frame 48. So it's rising, and then we'll adjust our tangency. Great. So that fixes that up, as we see. Now we could go to the end of the animation where the character has his right foot locked up, or right leg. We'll select the center of gravity, go to the translate Y, and let's go ahead and get to this key on frame 89. We'll frame it, and we need to bring that down. So let's do that. We'll just take this key on 89 and bring it down so that the character's leg isn't locked up. Okay. But to the point where it looks locked. Alright, and we'll check out the animation now. And that's looking better. There is a lock on frame 93, it seems, so we could go there and translate the character down just a little bit. And so he's not moving down that much. We'll take this key on 93 and bring it up so it's closer to the key on 89. Then we can fix the tangency there too. Great. So that's looking better. I think we could even take this key on 89 and bring it down a little bit more, just so that there's more of a bend in the leg there. Great. Well, that wraps up our hips. And in the next lesson, we're just going to spend the time doing a few blade blasts and making sure that we can safely call this light push finish. So we're just about done. We're just going to go ahead and double check our work and even triple check just to make sure everything is right so we can then convert our light push into a heavy one.